This program is a collaboration of personal opinions and individual free thought. It does not represent the views or narrative of the mainstream corporate media hacks. Viewer discretion is advised.
Live from the bell tower, taking a stand for your rights, your liberties, and all the bullshit in between. You're listening to Break the Bell Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Break the Bell Podcast.
Hello, beautiful bell breakers. We're here and we're live.
We are. You're more lively than I am, so I should probably get more lively.
Yes. Well, I've noticed you're back on the pipe.
I am. After a week of it, I was like, yeah, that's
You're
fucking
like, fuck
stupid.
this, I'm
That
going
is
back.
stupid. Have you ever? Of course, you've watched Community, but
yeah.
'cause you're the one that got me turned on to Community. There's one episode where like Britta's like freaking out, and like, Britta, what the hell's wrong with you? And they're like, she quit smoking, and he's like, Britta, as somebody who cares for you, I just want to say, start smoking again. No, it wasn't anything like that. I wasn't like freaking out or anything, but
Yeah.
last week I could not freaking focus to save my life. And the episode turned out fine, but
Yeah.
man, I was just like, that was really, really, really difficult. It was, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just, my focus comes through inhaling through long, skinny objects, I guess.
Okay. Then.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I can, I can like slow myself down and pace myself with
Okay.
smoking. Like the pause, the natural pause doesn't come natural for me in podcasting, so I have to smoke, and then it sounds like natural pausing in there, and people are like, oh, he's just talking like a normal human, not like a freaking crackhead or something. So, no, it wasn't a permanent thing. It was just I'm gonna cut back on this for a
Okay.
bit, and then I stopped
you did
cutting
for
back
a
on it.
bit.
I did for a bit, and then I stopped cutting back for a bit because I found out I really enjoy it. So, and I have very few joys in life left, and I'm not gonna have this taken from me.
That's understandable.
You remember back, there was a couple years ago when I went to like a wellness checkup thing, and
Mm-hmm.
the doctor was like, well, you need to quit smoking and stop drinking caffeine. It's just like, you're really like cutting out like the only two joys left in my life.
Yeah.
It's like, well, do you want to die sooner, or like die in like whatever of lung cancer or whatever, like a little sooner than a normal person, or do you want to kill yourself tomorrow? I don't know.
Exactly.
So we are live. This whole show is about smoking cessation. Addiction, it's bad for you.
Yes. But we've had the talk where it's like, why even live? If you can't experience like just the little joys,
Right. Yeah, and like I don't know. It's soothing to me. It's calming
Yeah.
to me. It's like, why not? Why do you want me to be an asshole for like 50 years, or a little less of an asshole for 40 years? I mean, those are your options.
That's fair enough.
So, welcome to the show. This is allegedly the Break the Bell podcast, where we just I don't know what we do. What do we do on the show?
We take on we make the world safe for democracy, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing
Yes,
there.
yeah.
We're protecting democracy
Yes,
as
just
you
like,
know it.
Yes, just like our government does.
And I mean, I feel like the show started with like, hey, we gotta like step up and take back our freedoms,
Yeah.
and it's got to the point where it's like everything is fucked.
Yes. Yep.
That's where
Yep.
that's our 3-year journey. So if you've missed the journey, go back and listen
Yes.
to that and feel the process of us just like sliding into
Yes.
black-pilled
The
society.
evolution of the Break the Bell.
Yes, the broken bell.
The it's
That's
is
what it
done,
is now.
gone.
Welcome to the Broken Bell podcast. The bell is broken. It's shattered. It's been burned. It's just no longer there. Smelted like Sean Penn's
Yep.
freaking Oscar award.
Yeah.
Tonight, I want to jump around because we haven't had an episode since we haven't been doing the weekend wrap up lately. We haven't had an episode where we can jump around some articles, some different things going on. And there's a few things that are going on right now. And so I'm just like, oh, that would be a topic of interest, but not really an episode's worth. Oh, that would be fun or interesting topic. So I'm going to talk about several things tonight, but all of them kind of borderline right in the area of like corruption. Like that the grand theme of this is corruption, which most of our episodes kind of theme around corruption.
One way or another comes back.
Right. So we got a few things to cover, from like election rigging to billionaires getting like a free pass to more war profiteering, war money laundering, whatever you want to call it. Basically, this whole system's run on corruption. If you don't know it by now, that's my black pill lesson for you tonight, is this whole system is ran on corruption. Voting doesn't seem to really get the job done anymore, especially, I mean, if voting is rigged the way it very well definitely is rigged, then what's voting getting done if it's all rigged anyway? So that's what we're going to be talking about. It might be a little negative, but we keep it lighthearted because that's what we do here.
We made the geothermal nuclear war fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, that was a fun one. Shannon's here. Shannon says, "Hey guys."
Hey Shannon, long time.
And she put like a no bell sign.
Oh, because we said that the bell was gone.
Yes. Okay, that's going to be our new logo. Where did you find that emoji just specifically for this topic? That's very specific.
Very impressive.
No kidding. So, like I said, we're going to talk some corruption because that's what we like to do. Before we get into the show, I want to let you all know we are now finally on social media. If you don't know that, we are there. Let's just wipe the slate clean for all the people that haven't shared us on social media, haven't gone out and followed us. Hey guys, we just started a social media platform. We're on Facebook, and we jumped on Instagram and Twitter this week. So if you are on those platforms, make sure you go check them out. Our new handle is @BreakTheBellPod on all of those platforms. So go like, subscribe, and share that all over the place because it's new and people haven't seen it yet. So go do that. We're giving you this opportunity. Clean plate.
Yep. No hard feelings.
No hard feelings.
Do it.
Just accept us as your new friends because we love you, and we still love you even for your downfalls and your flaws of not sharing us in the past. But that didn't happen because this is new social media.
Brand new.
@BreakTheBellPod is where you can find our new social media links. Make sure you do that because we would love you even more for it than we already do. Also, you can check out our website, which I have not updated recently in a very long time, which is www.breakthebellpod.com. You can get access to our merch store, which looks something like this. You can get access to awesome kick-ass t-shirts like the I Won't Eat Your Bug shirt, the We Are Not Your Pawn shirt, some logo merch, cups and shit like that. Pretty cool stuff. So support us a little more if you want by buying our garbage at breakthebellpod.com. Make sure you do that because it's awesome stuff. And you would look awesome, super sexy. The girls would love it.
Yeah.
If you don't get girls now, you will get girls if you wear our stuff.
They love the bell stuff.
Yeah, they love it. It's coveted amongst the girls. Shannon says, ding, ding, ding. I'm out of the loop today.
It's the bell.
Oh, okay. But there is no bell, so there's no dings.
That's true. It'd be just clink.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready to get right into this.
Let's do it.
We're running late because you're just late. So
life happens.
Do all the things we just said. Sit back, relax. We're going to kick off this video, and then we're going to come back and talk about the rule of the corrupt. We'll be right back.
What did you say?
You talking to me?
What the heck are you talking about?
What did you say?
What did you say? What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
What are you saying?
What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Well, maybe he was talking to me.
What did you say?
Talk to me.
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
Talk to me, baby.
What did you just say?
What did you say?
You listen to me. Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me? What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
We're back. Are you back?
I'm back. Yeah.
Okay.
Every time you say that, did you ever see Lethal Weapon 4? I think.
I don't think I saw the fourth one. I think I
Okay.
saw the first one, maybe.
When they come in and Mel Gibson's like, he's got Danny Glover there. He's like, "Hey, we're back. You're black and I'm mad." So I feel like I'm black, you're mad, or
Why
maybe
Why do you get to be black?
Well, you can be black. I'll be mad. It's
you're
fine.
not, but you're not really a mad type.
I'm not.
I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
You're black and I'm black. How about that?
That works.
Okay. So, if it's not clear by now, Bill, we're living in a country that's kind of ruled by the absolute corrupt. Like, what's that line?
Power corrupts.
Absolute. Yeah.
Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's the one. And I feel like that's true.
Yes, I agree.
You feel
with
like
that.
that's true?
Absolutely.
It's like the powerful is getting more powerful, and the more powerful the powerful gets, the more corrupt they get with
Yes.
that. And
I agree with that.
especially since 2020, since like COVID, like we
Yeah.
talked about, like the consolidation of power, the consolidation of wealth, the WEF trying to take power. You got all these freaking corporations that are like consolidating into like super corporations, and it's like the people on top. They just get better the richer they get, right?
Yeah.
They get nicer.
Oh, absolutely. More generous.
Their
and
philanthropy.
sharing. Yes.
They start handing out their wealth because there's that billionaires club that's like, we're going to hand out like 90% of our wealth by the time we die. It's like no strings attached, guys.
Right.
It's no political agenda, nothing like that.
Right.
No, it's all bullshit.
Yeah. It's like, we like our billion, but we kind of like your $20 too.
Yeah. So like we talked a lot about the philanthropists. Like it all started back with like Rockefellers, I think, trying to like make his corrupt image look better. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna start handing out money.
Right.
It's like,
but I'm gonna also get into education and medical and the food and
Yep, exactly. It's like, who needs money when you can just have control over everything? It's like, who cares? So, that's what rules the land.
Right. Yeah.
And the United States kind of is the authoritative figure over the entire world. So, the corruption just like spreads out.
Yeah. And you see, and we've known for a long time. Our government is definitely not the angels, right? That we sing songs about.
We sing songs about them, but they're not angels, that's for sure.
But it definitely seems within, the last, 10 years, especially this administration is very much in it for the Benjamins.
How many times in just the past year do you think have you heard like some mega scandal that's just like, oh, this is a big one, and like nothing happens?
Right. Yeah.
It's like, and it gets to the point now where it's like a mega scandal and everybody's just like, big deal.
There was someone the other day I was talking to, and I mentioned Fast and Furious, and they're like, oh, what's that?
Right, exactly. And
it
just comes and goes. Well, who is that guy that just got accused of bribery in the government? And like, it's so big that we don't even know his name.
Oh shit!
He's like up there too.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can figure that one. Yeah, that's my point. It's like,
right.
Who the fuck cares now? It's like somebody high up in the government is accused of bribery, and we don't even know his name, and that's like our job to know. Bribery in the news, maybe.
Was it the head of the FBI or CIA?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll stumble across it eventually, but it's point made right there.
Right,
it's like,
yeah, right.
The scandals pop up, and they get swept under the rug, and we forget about it, or they act like it's not a big deal, and the people just keep going about their business the way business is held. I mean,
Yeah.
when you're in a corrupt system, do you think you're going to get charged with corruption?
Oh, fuck no.
No, because
That's what everybody else is doing. They're like, oh, they got that guy. Guess he didn't sweep that on their rug far enough.
yeah, but if you actually like charge them with it or like throw them in jail or whatever, then that means it's going to come back on you someday. It's like the same system that locked up that congressman is going to lock you up someday. So that's why it's just like the Republicans aren't going to actually go after like Hillary Clinton, because the Democrats will turn back around and like what goes around comes around.
Right.
They're both fucking corrupt. So what's the point in one corrupt side really truly challenging the other corrupt side when all it's going to do is just open up the door to exposing all the corruption? And it's just like, well, that was stupid. Let's cover that one up.
Well, and usually it's the people that are like trying to shine a spotlight on it that are doing it only so you don't see what they're doing.
Well, yeah, like back with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And we're actually going to get into the Russia-gate thing. And a big part of that being as big of a story as it was to kind of make people forget about the email scandal she was going through at the time. It's just like, well, I know I did this bad thing, but did you see that big bad thing that Trump did?
Yeah.
And then, I'm going to pay a bunch of people to come up with all this information, this dossier, and then the FBI, we're going to use the FBI, the government resources for political gain and look into this shit. And then nobody's going to even remember. Or if they do bring it up, it's just like, but Russiagate.
Right.
Yeah, but Russia collusion.
Right.
Do you remember the phrase Russia collusion?
Collusion.
Yeah, so email scandal seems so small compared to Russia collusion.
Well, it's like I'm really surprised that people don't care more about the whole like Biden family making bank over, the last couple years or 20 years.
That's another thing. It's
it's like nobody cares.
It's like it's got to the point where she's like,
well, that's not the president.
That's just his son. Who cares?
Yeah, right, exactly. That has nothing to do with him.
But it's only a scandal if it's not your side, though, too. Because
if
it would have been Trump, Trump's son, like DJ, or I don't know, what's the little one, the youngin?
Oh, Royal? No, Monarch.
Baron.
There we go.
You were close.
I was on the right page.
You were close. Jesus Christ. What if like Baron Trump was like out playing with Putin's son or something?
Right.
I mean, that would be a big fucking deal.
Right.
In the media. But I mean, Hunter Biden's snorting coke off a Russian hooker and taking Ukrainian money and Chinese money and making bank off it and sharing joint bank accounts with Joe Biden. But Joe Biden had no idea where all that money was coming from.
He rents a place from his dad for what, $25,000 a month?
And takes care of all the yard work and shit. But nobody knows where that money's coming from. I mean, Joe Biden would have had no clue.
Right.
Yeah, Hunter Biden's not the greatest guy, but he's not Joe Biden, so we're good. We're good there. It's just, who fucking cares? It's
and
it's a nothing sandwich to them. They're like, it's not that big a deal.
It's the way the media portrays it, right? This whole thing with Trump and what's her face, the porn star, that was all over the place. But and charges in New York, but everything with Hunter and his dad sharing bank accounts and making money, no, that's nothing.
And the key point to it. The key factor of it all is Ukraine and China, like the two entities that we are at most odds with right now, and we're directly involved in war in Ukraine. Somebody's making bank off that, and we're on the verge of going to war with China, and somebody's going to make bank off that.
Yeah,
but nobody bats an eye.
Right.
It's just the system we live in.
Yeah.
Ruled by the corrupt. Who fucking cares?
Right.
Glad you brought up the Russiagate stuff, because the first thing I want to talk about is with corrupt governments always like comes with the election meddling. If you look at any like third world country, like, oh, that's a corrupt government, that's a banana republic or whatever.
Right.
It always starts with some form of election meddling or rigged election or the assassination of a duly elected president or something like that.
And when we were looking at Haiti, it's like they hadn't had one like straight up like president elected like in a fair way in like ever.
Yeah, in a very, very freaking long time. So I'm going to pull this one up. This is from ABC News. This is the most recent thing surrounding the Russiagate. So that hasn't gone away yet, just so you know.
Yeah.
The Durham report. Have you heard about that?
I have, yes.
This special counsel that was, because there was the Mueller report, which was the special counsel that was looking into Russiagate, and this is the Durham report, which is the special counsel that's looking into the investigation of Russiagate.
Yes.
It never ends.
No.
So this was the probe into like the FBI handling of the Russiagate investigation, because would you have thought that the FBI would be like a little one-sided in that whole thing?
I would, actually.
Like the fact that we have to have a special counsel to say the FBI was a little one-sided in this. When who was that FBI dickhead that was like texting his girlfriend and was doesn't matter what, we're just he's not going to become president.
Trump's going down.
We're going to make sure of it. It's just like that should have been enough.
Yeah,
to
I mean
be
they're like the federal police force, right? And you can't trust them to even stay the fuck out of
elections. Yeah. Right, exactly. So this is from ABC News. It says, after 4-year probe, the Durham report slams FBI for actions in 2016 Russia investigation. Now, by slam, do you think there's going to be like arrests in this? Do you think anybody's going to get fired for this? You think they'll even get like negative paperwork for this to go in their folder?
No, they'll get a nice pension and go do duty service on maybe the ATF.
Derek is here.
Hi, Derek.
Derek says the government is making deals with Latin American countries to give their Russian and German tanks and hardware to Ukraine. The U.S. will replace or sell the tanks and planes with U.S. made ones. So basically doing what was it Poland? What we were trying to convince Poland. It's like, or Poland was convincing us to, we'll give our jets and tanks and shit if you give us brand new jets and tanks and shit.
That's fair enough.
We are convincing Latin America to give their Russian tanks, their Russian-made tanks, to Ukraine so we can sell them more tanks.
I mean, isn't this pretty similar to what Reagan did with the Iran-Contra affair? You know, the one that...
With maybe not as much coke going in and out.
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe there is as much coke. We haven't got that far yet. I'm sure there's as much coke.
It was the 80s. There had to be.
We're going to get into the war part of this in the latter half of the show because I got some shit on the Ukraine war. So we'll get there, Derek. Okay. We'll get there. Make sure you stick around. It says in a long-awaited report released Monday, a special counsel, John Durham, slammed the FBI for actions agents took the 2016 probe scrutinizing then presidential candidate Donald Trump's 2016 campaign and its alleged ties to Russia. Durham's final report examining the origins of the Russian investigation brings a close a 4-year probe that failed to produce any major convictions despite the expectations pushed by Trump and his allies. So the right now is saying, oh, this is proof. It's exonerated Donald Trump. This is proof of like collusion at the highest levels of the government. Yeah. No arrests, though. No arrests.
No.
Durham says, hey, you guys are dumbasses in the FBI. You should have known better, but no arrests. It even comes out as far as like indicating that Obama and Biden knew that this was all a scam.
Yeah.
Nothing, though. It's just like, just kind of like the Mueller report, or kind of like the investigation of Hillary Clinton, where it's like, she was stupid, and she mishandled classified information, but no criminal wrongdoing here.
Yeah, right. It was more negligence than anything else.
The Justice Department and FBI failed to uphold the important mission of strict fidelity to the law, Durham concluded in a 306-page report. Isn't that their job?
Right.
That's like their primary job is to uphold the mission of strict fidelity to the law.
Yes.
It's like, well, it's not like they did anything too wrong. They just didn't do their fucking jobs at all.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, just, that's all it was.
But that's even grossly wrong because not only did they not do their job, but they didn't do their job on purpose.
Yes, it's dereliction of duty.
Right.
It's like you just intentionally just didn't do your job.
Yeah, it's like they should be fired so they can go work for the NED, and and move on to the next guy.
It says Durham was tasked in late 2020 by then Attorney General Bill Barr to investigate the origins of the FBI's Crossfire Hurricane, which is a stupid freaking name.
That is the gayest name of
it's not the gayest. We've heard so much
worse.
worse.
Well, that's true. Okay, but it sounds like someone's really trying hard.
It's pretty
right?
freaking gay.
Like a Pokemon move, like Crossfire Hurricane, go!
It's pretty gay that you would think that, though.
Well, my son is into Pokemon now.
Yes, your son. That's what we're going. You're like, hey son, you want to watch Pokemon? He's like, not really yet. You want to watch Pokemon?
It's nothing like the My Little Pony phase I went through years ago.
Jesus. Things you should not admit on a live podcast. Durham's appointment came just weeks before Trump was defeated by Joe Biden, effectively ensuring that his work would continue even after Biden took office. Some of the FBI's most controversial actions were largely based on since-debunked allegations provided by former British spy Christopher Steele, the Steele dossier. Our investigation revealed that senior FBI personnel, not like little nobodies like, this ain't that important.
Right.
Senior FBI personnel displayed a serious lack of analytical rigor towards information they received.
Really?
So they didn't cross-check it. They didn't fact-check it.
Right.
They didn't, cross-examine witnesses or anything like that. It's just like, oh, this looks good. Well, let's just roll with this. I don't know where this came from, but
it's against Trump, so let's print it.
Especially information received from politically affiliated persons and entities. In particular, there was a significant reliance on investigative leads provided or funded directly or indirectly by Trump's political opponents. The department did not adequately examine or question these materials and the motivation of those providing them before opening a full-scale investigation. Again, this is senior FBI personnel, like the people at the top.
Right. Been doing this for years.
Yeah, it's like, hey, here's this piece of paper that this guy wrote on Trump. You need to investigate. They're like, all my training suggests that I should probably look into this guy and see who he is and where this came from and who funded him and how you got this information. No, none of that.
Yeah, I mean they did more due diligence towards the Hunter Biden laptop than they did.
Which was nothing.
I know. They looked at it and be like, yeah, that can't be real.
Yeah, no, that's wrong. In his final report, Durham alleged that the investigation into Trump in its early days was handled differently from how the FBI approached prior matters, including allegations of foreign election interference plans purportedly aimed at Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign, which Durham's team also examined. In short, it is the office's assessment that the FBI discounted or willfully ignored material information that did not support the narrative of collusive relationship between Trump and Russia. Now, to come out and say you willfully ignored something, somebody's head should roll in this.
You would think so, yes. Because otherwise, what happens?
Now,
it happens again.
Yeah, if you were on a job,
yes,
and you did something or didn't do something that caused a pretty catastrophic error, on accident,
right,
you'd probably be in a little bit of shit.
I would think so.
If you willfully did not do the thing that could have prevented the accident, your head would roll for it, I'm sure. I don't know your boss, but I'm sure your head would roll for it.
Well, any boss with this assault, if you're going to cause, like, say, millions of dollars of damage or some lives, yes, I would say that would...
Yeah, millions of dollars damage. Like, how many millions of dollars were spent on the Russia Gate investigations?
I would say, upwards of hundreds of millions.
But federal money doesn't matter because
they don't care.
No
shit.
But if say you were to do something that caused a company to decide, we got to spend $10 million looking into this or investigating or cleaning it up, and it came to pass that none of that was true or that was your fault and you were covering. You would be on the hook for that.
But that's the problem. They don't have to clean it up, right? They just hope that
We just piss millions of dollars out the window and nobody fucking cares, though.
Oh, I know that.
And this guy's like, well, you guys were wrong. You're bad, but no arrests.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? Just try to do better next time.
While Durham does not appear to say outright that the FBI's Russia investigation should not have been launched, he strongly suggests this is the case, while using sharp language to admonish former FBI leadership. You dirty rats. You scoundrels. It's like he's too much of a pussy to be like,
well, it's
yeah,
the FBI, right? He's like, well, I don't want them to come after me and do see all the shit I'm doing wrong.
He described his findings as sobering.
That's horrible.
In statements issued in response to the report, FBI officials said the conduct in 2016 and 17 that Special Counsel Durham examined was the reason that current FBI leadership already implemented dozens of corrective actions, which have now been in place for some time.
Yeah, because Biden's in control and Trump is not.
Right.
Right? So if something comes up there, they'll do their due diligence, be like, well, Biden couldn't possibly do this.
Yeah, you don't think they'll possibly do this again in the future?
Fuck yeah, they will.
Especially if Donald Trump decides to run again in 2024. You're damn right they will, because it worked. Nothing happened to them.
Yeah.
And they're going to...
And all they got to say is like, well, there may be some collusion with Trump and China now, right?
There might be collusion with Iran. There might be
right.
Name the country we're at odds
and
with.
There's no culpability there, you know? Nothing's going to happen.
But the fact is this, it's like, do you believe anything now?
No. No.
Like, there literally could be collusion between a presidential candidate and a foreign entity. They could be like taking bribes like Joe Biden. And
right?
They're going to be like, oh, this is another...
So if they come out with the headline and they're like, it looks like there is some collusion between Biden and Ukraine, I mean, is that something you're like, well, no shit? Or are you going to be like...
I've just come to the conclusion that there's collusion regardless.
With everybody.
Like, elections are rigged.
Yes.
Regardless.
Yes.
Like, here's the article that talks about Obama and Biden knowing the truth about the whole freaking collusion hoax or whatever we call it. This is from Fox News. So obviously it's kind of one-sided. Says, here, let's scroll down.
That's a shitty picture.
Those are some shit-eating grins right there.
Right.
In July 2016, CIA Director John Brennan rushed to the White House to brief then-President Barack Obama and Joe Biden, our current president, I'm glad they had to specify that,
I didn't know,
about alarming new evidence uncovered by American intelligence. The agency had obtained reliable information that Hillary Clinton had approved a campaign plan to stir up a scandal against Donald Trump by tying him to Putin and the Russians. It was an outrageous and wholly invented accusation unsupported by anything except Hillary's craven imagination. Her shrewd goals were to frame her opponent for unidentified crimes that he never committed, thereby damage or sink his candidacy. As Durham noted, the despicable smear had the dual benefit of distracting from her own nagging email scandal, which is what we talked about, that was dragging down her poll numbers. Given its potency, the Clinton canard ranks as the dirtiest trick ever perpetrated in American politics. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think there were some worse ones.
Now the bar's pretty low, though, so
that's true.
It's not saying much. Obama and Biden knew all about Hillary's treachery, and so did others in the orbit who secretly were briefed, including Attorney General Loretta Lynch, Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, and FBI Director James Comey. This is corroborated by Brennan's handwritten notes. For the next 3 years, all of them remained silent about the CIA's findings. Collectively, they concealed the truth of Trump's innocence as he was hounded by constant condemnation of conspiring with Moscow. All the shit that went on for 4 years. We don't have to open that up.
Yeah, we know. We all know.
At the outset of the hoax, Hillary's devoted coterie of disciples plotted to spread the lie. They secretly paid a sleazy ex-foreign spy, Christopher Steele, to obtain Russian disinformation about Trump and compose a phony dossier. It goes on to say, the Bureau had no basis whatsoever to open the probe because agents lacked any actual evidence of collusion and traduced their own strict guidelines according to Durham. Those in charge broke every rule in the book in a brazen reverse. All the stuff we know.
Yeah.
the key point in this is that
They knew.
Obama and Biden knew about this. It's not like they're sitting on, like, yeah, we should look into,
Right.
there's potential that there's Russian collusion here, and that's all they knew. Yeah, obviously look into that. No, they knew the Clinton campaign. The CIA knew the Clinton campaign was cooking this up. The CIA reported it to not only the president and Joe Biden, but also the FBI director, who was the one that was one of the higher-ups that we were talking about earlier. And also the attorney general, the highest legal person in the land.
Yeah. And it was also the basis for an impeachment, right? So that's more shit.
Right. And people, I don't know. So many investigations. Like there was the investigation into Giuliani. There's the investigation into, what was that sleazy guy?
Bannon?
Yeah, Bannon.
Yeah.
All those people, there was investigation into, like millions and billions of dollars went into this. And the higher-ups knew about it. And it's taken us, what, now 6 years?
Yeah.
6 years to get to this point where it's just like, yeah, that was kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point now where everybody's heard it so much, they're like, who fucking cares?
Yeah, right.
Like that's the whole reasoning why they're releasing it now, because people are so fed up with it,
They don't
so
care.
exhausted by it, that it's just like, okay, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let's move on with our lives. And that's the FBI.
Do you think, if you say, all right, I don't think that Hillary didn't get elected because of her email scandal. Nobody liked Hillary from the beginning. But I do think people had a bad taste in their mouth from Trump because of this whole Russian thing.
Yeah.
And do you think anybody would change their mind now at this point if they heard this?
Probably not.
Because their opinions are already set, right?
Right. Do you think, though, let's say this came out in 2020 and a half.
Okay.
That this is all bullshit. It's all made up. It's all a lie. Russiagate goes away, so we don't spend the next 4 fucking years investigating Russiagate and slamming it in people's face. Russia collusion. Do you think that would have maybe thrown some odds in Trump's favor though in 2020 election?
No, because by then they had already moved on to the pandemic and how he was killing people by not taking action.
But the thing is, I feel like Donald Trump got zilch done because he was battling his entire presidency.
Yes, I agree with that.
I feel like he could have maybe, not saying he would have been a better president, but he would have had more potential, I guess, to be a better president.
No, I agree.
Or to do more stuff if he wasn't battling this shit for 4 years. I feel like not only did this have meddled in the 2016 election, but it also affected the 2020 election.
His entire presidency. You're right. Absolutely. Yes.
Government meddling.
Yes. Yeah.
From our intelligence agent, the FBI. Now, did I have anything else on this one? Because I want to move on. We're still staying in line with this. I want to get to a little bit more recent modern events here. Let's see. Recently, it came out that the CIA, another intelligence agency,
right? Yes.
They were the one they pushed the cover up of the Hunter Biden laptop thing back in 2020.
Yes.
So kind of along the same lines, but not the FBI this time. Now it's the CIA,
right. Which is the intelligence arm of it that deals more with international.
Yeah, well, the Hunter Biden thing kind of goes at the international level because of Hunter Biden's connections.
Right.
So let me get rid of this video because it's going to slow everything down. And who is that?
I don't know.
This article's from the New York Post, who is the original authors of the Hunter Biden laptop story.
And
then they got kicked off Twitter for it. They got
they were called
blacklisted, tabloid.
Yep.
The CIA fast-tracked a letter that falsely suggested Hunter Biden's laptop was a Russia op. So kind of right along the same terms. Russia collusion, election meddling, intelligence agencies.
Yes.
Right there.
Yes.
But this is another story coming out right now. The CIA conspired with former acting director Mike Morell and the Biden campaign to produce a letter falsely claiming that emails from Hunter Biden's laptop were Russian disinformation and solicited signatures of at least one former intelligence officer. A staff report from the House Judiciary Committee is expected to reveal on Wednesday. Morell told CIA's Pre-Publication Classification Review Board, or PCRB, that he needed the letter approved as an unusual rush job that day. So this CIA drafts this letter and is like, we have evidence that we have reason to believe this is Russian propaganda.
Yeah.
This comes from Russia. And we need to fast track this today. Because Trump and Biden are getting ready to have a debate.
Yes.
And he needs some ammunition to hit back against Trump when Trump's like, what about your son's laptop and his porn and his crack addiction and the Ukrainian collusion? So they wanted something in his belt. So they fast-tracked this letter.
Listen, Jack.
Yes.
I got a letter from the CIA that says that
exonerates me of this. Morell told the CIA, I read that. It says, that day a CIA employee working for the PCRB solicited a signature for Morell's letter from former CIA analyst David Carians, according to a written statement by Carians to the subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government and intelligence. Now, that's the subcommittee I can stand behind.
Absolutely.
The subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government and intelligence. Carians explained that he had been speaking with the PCRB about the pre-publication review of his own memoir, and during a phone call, the CIA employee asked him if he would sign the draft letter. When the person in charge of reviewing my book called to say it was approved with no changes, I was told about the draft letter. So he writes this book, right? And this guy calls him and says, first draft is like, we're going to publish your book. No changes made. But we need you to sign this letter.
Right.
That's
little shady.
That's not solicitation. That's like legitimate bribery.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Oh, you don't want to sign the paper? Well, then
we're going to have to see a couple more drafts.
Yeah, right.
Put it in that file over there. When the person in charge of reviewing my book called to say it was approved with no change, I was told about the draft letter. The person asked me if I would be willing to sign. I agreed. Carians told his wife, Janice, also a former CIA officer, about the letter, and she also agreed to sign. Morell directed the PCRB that this is a rush job as it needs to get out as soon as possible. Morell told fellow signatory John Brennan, former CIA director, that he wanted the letter released before Biden's October 22nd presidential debate against Donald Trump, trying to give the campaign, particularly during the debate, a talking point to push back to Trump. Mark Polymeropoulos, you think he's Greek maybe?
A little bit.
A former CIA acting chief of operations for Europe and Eurasia congratulated Morell on the afternoon of October 19th for securing the lightning-fast approval of the letter. You have some juice. You got juice, kid.
I like the cut of your jib.
I like your style. We need more kids like you. With PCRB, asked Morell. Yes, replies Polymeropoulos. Is right, texted Morell. They are probably scared that I'm coming back. Now there's a nice picture of Hunter with no clothes on.
Yeah, right.
At the time, Morell was widely tipped to the CIA director if Biden were elected, or widely tipped to be CIA director if Biden were elected. So he's doing this obviously for personal gain. But his hopes were dashed when he was not nominated for the position. That would be so...
Damn.
It's like he gets this push through. He's like, I'm the reason you got elected.
Yeah, right.
It's
like,
like,
well, we're going a different way.
Yeah.
But thanks for rushing that through.
It has been revealed previously that Morell was prompted to draft the letter by Biden's campaign advisor, Antony Blinken, now Secretary of State, who called him on October 17, 2020, to discuss the Post article about the laptop. Morell told Blinken that he was not familiar with the article, and Blinken later that night forwarded him a USA Today story alleging the FBI was investigating whether it was Russian disinformation. So, this guy didn't even know about the story. And Antony Blinken's like, hey, this thing is here and it's Russian disinformation. We need the CIA to write a letter saying this is Russian disinformation. Yeah. How much intelligence was gathered from when Antony Blinken called him on October 17th to October 20th when that letter came out by the CIA?
My guess is none.
Like 0.
Yeah,
just him perusing the USA Today article.
Right, which is, key intelligence, right?
Obviously,
USA Today, right?
Obviously, yes. It's like, well, we have this strong, credible information that tells us that this is most likely Russian information, disinformation. But I didn't know about this 3 days ago.
Yeah, right.
But this letter, I have this letter drafted, so this laptop, forget about it, Russian disinformation.
Yeah. Well, it works for me, and we need it before the debate.
And again, this guy was like slated to be the next CIA director.
Right, yeah.
So obviously he's going to do what he can to work his way up.
He gets a little nod, be like, if you push this through, then, we think you'd be great as director of CIA.
He's like, so Antony Blinken comes to him. He's like, we've really been considering, like, mulling over considerations for CIA director. Got a job for you. And he, like, drops down on his knees, and he's like, no, not like that. Not yet. We're saving that one for later.
Right.
We just need you to write a letter. That's all.
Right.
Well, about what? It's, the Hunter laptop thing. It's like,
oh, okay.
Well, I don't know what that is, but he's like, here, read this.
Yeah.
Oh, Russian info. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
No problem.
Do you want my wife to sign it too? Would that help? Sure. You got, any other CIA agents around?
Yeah.
Just get them all to sign it.
Right.
Shit.
Yeah, I know this guy that wants his book to be published.
Yeah.
I could get him to probably sign, and then we'll, like, get his
Do it?
book approved. Yeah, I've got connections, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, is it shocking at this point, reading stories like this? Does that surprise you at all?
No, fuck. No.
But is this, like, blatant corruption at the highest levels of government?
Yes.
Like election meddling at the and the whole Russia collusion thing was obviously election meddling that we needed to spend billions of dollars on for 6+ years now.
Yeah. And I mean, it was the whole basis. I mean, when we did our show about the election, right, and how they had this whole game plan.
Yeah.
I mean, the very basis of it was, the Russian collusion. Like, hey, let's throw this guy off from the start.
Right.
And everybody knew. The top cops knew. The CIA, the FBI,
Facebook was brought in on it. Twitter was brought in on it.
Yes.
All the everybody.
But then something credible comes through with Hunter Biden's laptop.
Like, smash it now.
Yeah, right. We don't know. No, that needs to disappear.
And then that was almost the same game plan, though, but the opposite is like, we need to wipe this from Twitter.
Yes.
We need, like, was it the FBI that went to Twitter and basically said, you got to squash this as Russian disinformation.
Right. Yes.
So the FBI was involved in that. CIA was involved in that. We have the social media involved in that once again. So it's almost the same plan.
And that is a credible national security issue that they're sweeping under the rug because politically it's not favorable.
It didn't look good.
Yeah.
Might be an eyesore on the campaign.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little disturbing to me.
Right. It's disturbing, like you said, though, that nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about the Hunter
laptop. There's real connections here, and they're looking the other way because it would look bad for their boy Joe.
And this is just the cover-up of the problem. It's not even getting into the whole problem. Like,
and this is the only thing this is what we know now. Right? This is not even all the stuff we don't know about.
Well, it doesn't even cover the stuff in the laptop. The bribery, the pay-for-play schemes, the freaking 10% for the big guy.
And I don't know if you remember when this first came out, and there was a map, and it was like color-coded, and it was all the different nations that Hunter Biden was doing business with.
I remember.
And I mean, there was quite a few.
A lot of countries.
Yes, and most of them not friendly to the United States.
Right. Now, this just popped up, came to my attention right before we started, so I don't know a bunch about this, but apparently it's kind of in line with, like, the actual stuff in the laptop, like Joe Biden's like bribery schemes or like the Biden family connections and stuff. Apparently, a key informant against Joe Biden is missing.
Oh. Okay.
Surprise?
No.
Not like I said, I'm not going to get into this one because I haven't read into it, but it just, I mean, why not? Why not
Yes.
throw that in the
Oh,
mix
fuck
too?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
cover-ups, election meddling. Why not like some like disappearing
You
of
gotta have some
informants?
disappearing
We
of
do.
people,
I mean,
yes.
he's like trying. He's trying to get on par with the Clintons.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure Hillary gave him some tips.
Yeah, he's
Right?
like, I got to get to the
Yeah.
Clinton level here.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
almost there.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is I got Hunter is in charge of my
Right.
adventures,
Yeah.
and but we got to throw in some murders and assassinations, so
Absolutely.
we
Yeah.
can be to the notoriety of the Clintons.
Yeah. I'm just gonna throw it this way: self-hanging, but with a shotgun blast to the chest.
Yeah, I mean that one goes over great.
Yes, that's a classic.
Again, like every election though has had like I've come to terms with every election has had meddling.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just there. There's no free and fair elections. There's no such thing.
Yeah.
I mean, even as much as I hated Bernie Sanders, how he's treated by the DNC was
yeah.
hardcore proof that there's no such thing as free and fair elections
Yeah.
because Hillary never should have been up there to
Oh,
begin
fuck
with,
no.
for us to reveal her email servers, for us to have this whole Russia collusion narrative. She should have never been there. It should have been old man freaking Bernie Sanders. But they screwed him over, election meddling there. What about Bush in Florida?
Right.
Like, I don't give two shits about Al Gore. At the time, I guess my family was Bush supporters, so I was happy. I was a kid though.
Right.
But yeah, looking back on it now, it's like, wait, the state that your brother was in
Right.
charge
Governor
of,
of, yeah.
all of a
right.
sudden just found a bunch of faulty,
You know, I voted for Al Gore in that election.
gross.
I know. I was young. I was impetuous.
Looking back, who would you have voted for, Bush or Gore? Like what you know now. If you could go
Yeah.
back in time, who would you vote for?
I would go with Bush, I think.
Really, and
Well,
like drag us into like infinite
Okay,
wars
but-
and
but I
murder a
think-
bunch of brown people and have Dick Cheney, the actual embodiment of the penguin, running our country?
Well, yes, because I think that no matter who was president, that was going to happen. That was in the script to happen no matter who was president.
I don't know. I think Dick Cheney kind of Dick Cheney was in
Because
that
who was
whole-
Al Gore's vice president?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know. It
But
was a long time ago.
yeah, and look, I mean, Al Gore, he's Mr. Climate Change, right? We would have been in bed with the WEF years ago.
So
if it
it's
was Al
either perpetual wars or
Green Deal,
Green Deal. Like,
straight up.
I mean, that's just how it's kind of been back and
Yeah.
forth.
right, and so not much has changed.
No, so I don't know. I'd probably just go run off in the woods and not vote for anybody. Knowing what I know now, I would vote for neither of
yeah,
them.
Ralph Nader.
Well, yeah. So let's get away from the election rigging. 'Cause, I mean, we could talk about that all freaking day.
Yeah.
I want to we haven't talked about Bill Gates in a while, and when we think of like corruption, like
Yes.
elitists and billionaires. I mean, Bill Gates is right up there.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Like you can't not throw Bill Gates'
yeah,
name in the hat.
I think he's the modern day Rockefeller, right?
Oh, I
He's
think
trying
he
to
thinks
put
he
his
is.
hands in everything.
He thinks he is.
Yeah.
That's for sure. He's too big of a freaking nerd though.
Well,
to
that's true.
To
Yeah,
be
he's
a
definitely not as
Rockefeller.
cool as Rockefeller.
No. He's back in the news, and it has to. It's almost like they're trying to wipe the slate clean for him because there's been some like negative, like feelings towards Bill Gates. God forbid we
Yeah,
think
right.
negatively, especially since his divorce and the whole Epstein allegations come out.
Right.
Like his wife's like, "Well, I divorced him because he hangs out with Jeffrey Epstein too much," and everybody's like, "What? What? You can't just."
Yeah.
Like you can't just throw that out there and not elaborate
Right,
on it. It's
yeah.
like no questions, no comments.
Yeah.
That's all. And it's just
Right.
like so. Then obviously us conspiracy-minded people just ran
Right.
amok with it because I mean there's plenty of room to.
Right.
Every elitist bumped elbows with Jeffrey
Oh
Epstein.
yeah. Right. Absolutely.
All of them. Donald Trump did.
Yes.
I
guarantee every politician worth mentioning.
Right. They all have some kind of
Yeah.
ties. Whether or not they diddled little kids.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not saying that, but just
Yeah. They had some kind of dealings with
having
him.
some kind of connection with
Yeah.
this guy is enough. Is it?
Yeah.
Guilty sentence in my book.
I agree with that.
Well, apparently, just yesterday has come out that we shouldn't look so harshly on Bill Gates, because Bill Gates, in fact, was actually one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims.
Oh.
Did you know that?
He got diddled?
He didn't. Well, probably. Yeah, but he enjoyed it.
Sure.
Apparently, all the news is saying that Jeffrey Epstein allegedly tried to extort Bill Gates over an affair.
Okay.
And that's where all the ties came from.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
Was
So
because,
he made Bill Gates hang out with him because he had dirt on him.
yeah,
basically.
yeah, sure.
Okay.
So this one's this gets a little crazy, and this really has. It's again, we're just kind of jumping all over the place, but it comes back to corruption because it's Bill Gates and
yes.
Jeffrey Epstein,
And that's corruption.
and he's like buying out politicians, and he's buying out freaking policies, and he's buying out freaking like laws and stuff like that, and he's like the czar of like the COVID mandates and farming mandates and all this stuff.
He's doing all the war games.
Right. Convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein appeared to threaten Bill Gates and tried to blackmail the multi-billionaire over an extramarital affair with a Russian bridge player.
They just come right out with it, don't they?
A Russian bridge player, according to a new report published by the Wall Street Journal.
Wouldn't that be collusion?
I guess. Again, this one's interesting. Speaking to the Journal, sources familiar with the matter said that after Epstein found out about the Microsoft co-founder's affair with Russian bridge player Mila Antonova, he threatened Gates into reimbursing him for tuition costs that Epstein initially covered for her to attend software coding school.
Wait, what?
Yes.
What?
So, let's get all the pieces in a row. Bill Gates goes and plays bridge with this girl.
Right. Yes.
20-some-year-old Russian
College
bridge
student,
player.
Right.
And he ends up having relations with her while he's still married.
Okay.
She happens to like have connections with Epstein.
Okay.
To the tune of him paying for her to go to college to learn how to code.
Interesting.
And Epstein, through that connection, Epstein finds out, she probably ran her mouth, that she was screwing Bill Gates.
Right.
And I think Epstein was trying to get Bill Gates to like invest in some philanthropic move of his, and Gates backed out of it. So then that pissed off Epstein, and then he's like, I know about this bridge player chick here, and I'm going to tell people about it if you don't donate to my cause. And he's like, I'm not going to donate to your cause. And he's like, well, you at least need to reimburse her for her freaking tuition because I paid for that.
It's weird.
It's so freaking weird, but it gets weirder.
Okay.
Speaking to the Journal, sources, let's see, I already read that. Epstein threat to Gates came in the form of an email he sent in 2017 after he failed to convince Gates to join a multi-billion-dollar charity fund he attempted to set up, according to sources. Gates met Antonova in about 2010 when she was in her 20s and went on to play bridge with her. In 2010 YouTube video, Antonova recounted a tournament where she played with Gates, saying, "I didn't beat him, but I tried to kick him with my leg."
What?
According to documents reviewed by the Journal, Antonova wanted to establish, now listen to this, she's an entrepreneur.
Oh, sure.
She's got aspirations in life. She's got goals herself. Antonova wanted to establish an online bridge tutorial business and was attempting to secure funds. What is the demand for online bridge tutorials?
Think about the people who typically play bridge over 60.
But, yeah. What is the demand for online bridge tutorials?
I would say maybe 3% of the population is generous.
Not even.
Yeah.
Maybe 0.5%.
Okay.
Now, think of the low demand for that. Now think about this. What do you think it would cost to have an online bridge tutorial?
Not much.
You just type up a tutorial and you post it online for free.
You could probably go on YouTube and find one right now.
Well, yeah, but you could post like a freaking GeoCities, is that still a thing? GeoCities, the free, free. We'll say it as that's dating me. GeoCities account, or a WordPress. That's what the kids do these days. WordPress account with step-by-step instructions on how to play bridge. You post it for free. There you go.
Yeah.
Now she is hitting up Gates people, Epstein people for funding for this online bridge tutorial business. Does that seem sketchy to you?
A little bit.
Like, that's what's that chick that she like played the social life when she was like really some poor chick from Russia.
Oh yes.
They did like a whole Netflix series on her, and she ended up like scamming these billionaires out of a bunch, like going on dates with them, and had that invest in her like club and stuff, and she was really a nobody.
Yes.
It says through Boris Nikolic, a close Gates advisor, Antonova was introduced to Epstein to help her raise funds for her initiative. There's more to this freaking story.
Yes, there is.
There's more than online bridge tutorial business. If she's getting hooked up with Jeffrey Epstein through a Bill Gates freaking associate, there's something more to this. She was introduced to Epstein to help raise funds for the initiative, which sought to promote bridge by creating quality tutorials for beginners and advanced players. Antonova Nikolic met Epstein at his townhouse in November 2013 in New York, where she presented her fundraising proposal to him and sought $500,000.
$500,000?
Antonova told the outlet that Epstein ultimately did not invest in the initiative. Nevertheless, she went on to stay at his apartment in New York. A year later, that Epstein provided her apartment in New York a year later.
Of course he did.
She said, I didn't interact with him or anyone else while I was there.
Bullshit.
Epstein at one point paid for her to attend software coding school. She said Epstein agreed to pay, and he paid directly to the school. Nothing was exchanged. I don't know why he did that. When I asked, he said something like he was wealthy and wanted to help people when he could. But he didn't invest in her bridge playing initiative to begin with. But now he's going to pay for an apartment
and put her
through coding school.
Yeah.
What is... No, you know what it was? This is what it was, probably. He's just like, this bitch is crazy. Yeah. I'm not going to invest in her bridge playing school or whatever. And then he finds out through conversations that she had screwed Bill Gates. And he's like, but now I'm going to pay for everything.
Yes, because now
I got him
dirt on one of the richest men in the world.
So that almost tells me that Bill Gates may not have been diddling little kids, because then he would have already had all that dirt.
That's true.
He did have Epstein connections, but I don't think
maybe Epstein was trying to get him to come to his island
to diddle little kids.
To diddle, and Gates wouldn't do it, but then he found out this chick was banging Bill Gates and was like, that's my in.
Well, at least I got that dirt.
Right.
Derek Ambrose says Derek Ambrose says Gates 10,000% bottomed on that island 100% of the time. Never played strip bridge before, he says. I haven't either.
I guess I'm not as familiar with the game. I wouldn't know how that works.
Yes, me neither. Says during that time, Antonova was looking to set up her initiative. Why do they keep calling this an initiative? It's a freaking webpage.
Yes.
Epstein was also trying to set up his own fund. According to documents reviewed by the Journal, Epstein was attempting to establish his charitable fund with J.P. Morgan, which would require ultra-wealthy individuals to make a minimum $100 million contribution and pay him millions of dollars in fees. What kind of charitable fund is that?
Yeah, that's shady as fuck.
The fund was supposed to be a way for Epstein to rebuild his reputation after he was forced to register as a sex offender and pled guilty in 2008 to soliciting and procuring a minor for prostitution.
Oh, a minor?
Well, that's all he was accused for in 2008.
Gotcha.
Like, you got to really look into. And the person that got him off on that, no pun intended, or pun intended, was Bill Barr, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Documents reviewed by the outlet showed that Epstein's fund was contingent upon obtaining support from Gates. So at this time,
he was critical.
He's trying to build this freaking ultra-wealthy people's charitable fund to reestablish his reputation. And he's like, all this falls on Gates. This chick comes, there's like a few years ago, it's like, I want to start this bridge playing app. And he's like, that's stupid. Not going to have that. And she's like running her mouth the whole time. And then in this whole process, she's like, and on my resume, I fucked Bill Gates.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay, now you kind of got my attention because he is my entire fallback plan for this charitable. Like, he's going to literally make this thing happen.
I love how Epstein's all like, I really need to look credible and I need to look like a stand-up guy, so I'm going to blackmail Bill Gates.
That's just how this works, though. I mean, I don't even feel bad, though, because when the corrupt blackmail the corrupt, do you feel bad about it?
Not at all.
Especially somebody like Bill Gates. Now, I feel like none of this is... I feel like all of this is only coming to light to kind of rebuild Bill Gates' reputation.
Right, yeah.
Because if not... Why the hell, when this came up in the divorce proceedings, where she's like, "Oh, he had all this connection with Jeffrey Epstein"? Why at that point wouldn't he just be like, "I fucked a college chick, and he had dirt on me. That's why we were hanging out."
I mean, she's already leaving him.
Yeah, she's divorcing him anyway. There's already like this, like the company's already looking kind of negatively towards him. He was already out of Microsoft at that point. Yeah. So why not just be like, yeah, I screwed up. Yeah. I screwed a college chick, and Jeffrey Epstein was holding that against me, and so there was this connection there.
Exactly. And by doing that, he makes himself look better because, like you said, obviously he wasn't diddling because he piddled.
Sure. He's piddling, not diddling.
Yes. Big difference. Big difference.
I don't know. Like, none of this isn't real.
No, I agree. The whole thing is very bizarre.
And it makes me want to know what Bill Gates is setting himself up for. Like, what's his next, evil mastermind move? Because they want to be rebuilding his trying to, like, build back his reputation, boost it a little bit. If he didn't have I want to do this. I want to push towards this global agenda, but I kind of got this Epstein baggage on my back. Can we get rid of the Epstein baggage? They're like, well, there was that chick that you screwed. Remember that? We could say that Epstein was blackmailing you for that chick that you screwed. He's dead. He can't counter it now. Because he'd probably be like, why would I blackmail him for that when I could blackmail him for this, this, and this,
I got
and this, and
movies
this, and this
here.
Yeah, I've got
pictures.
videos. I've got I've got his signature. He's in my black book on the plane. He's in the freaking guest book in the freaking on my island. Yeah. I mean, he had his own personal bedroom. Why would I blackmail? It's like, that is so beneath my level of blackmail. Yeah. And I feel like that would be so beneath his level of blackmail. Yeah. So, this is all made up. It's all bullshit. And, I don't know. There's something with this chick that's more than just a bridge app.
Yes.
Programmer. I don't know. Maybe we're just cynical.
Maybe Jeffrey Epstein is just a really big fan of bridge.
Well, not enough of a fan of bridge to support her app.
No,
but enough to put her through.
Maybe he was looking for a new Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell. You know,
maybe. I mean, she was. Yeah, she was out of his age range. I mean, the bridge player was kind of out of his age range at 20.
True.
So she's getting a little old. She's a little dated. I mean, it's all going to get, like, whitewashed.
Yeah.
This guy's going to continue to do his shady dealings. He's going to, like, continue to pay for the laws that, like, support his companies. It's all corrupt. The whole system is fucked.
Yeah. Do you think anybody who read this article would feel bad for Bill Gates? Be like, wow, you know, he really didn't do anything wrong.
I bet they do. Yes, because people are retarded.
They are, yes.
They're going to be like, oh, he was blackmailed? Oh, that poor old guy.
He just
I really
made a
liked
mistake.
Bill Gates back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a philanthropist. Right. What's not to like about Bill Gates? He gave us Microsoft.
Right.
He gave us Microsoft Windows. He gave us the little box that's like, are you sure you want to go to this website every time you go to the website?
Microsoft,
I
man.
hate Microsoft too.
Yeah.
Absolutely hate it. That's all I really got on the Bill Gates. I felt like we had to talk about it.
I do
though.
feel like there's a lot more here than what they're.
There is, and I'm going to continue to
Yes.
watch out for this. But again,
Have you Googled the chick?
I haven't had a chance.
Okay.
This just popped up. I'm like, all right, we got to talk about this. I mean, we got to mention this. This is great. We do got to get into break. I got some war money laundering stuff to talk about.
Good.
When we get back.
Good.
Because there's all kinds of it. We did a whole episode called "War is a Racket."
Yes.
And more and more keeps coming out about specifically this Ukraine war, and it's just like, do you guys not see what's happening here?
Yeah.
It's like everything you've talked, like with the Hunter Biden laptop. You're like, it's right there, and it's bad, and people are like, whatever.
Yeah, but
Joe
look what
Biden,
Trump
he's
did,
not Donald Trump,
right?
or like this article with about Gates and Jeffrey Epstein. It's like, you don't see all the holes in the story, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, that old poor man, he got blackmailed by the evil diddler."
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get back to the Ukraine war, where it's just like, look, why are we here? And they're like, but the Ukrainians,
they have to fight the evil
we're
Russians.
fighting for freedom, fighting the big bad Putin, while they're pissing billions of dollars of ours out the window.
Everybody's getting rich as fuck.
Yes, no, not everybody.
Oh,
not us.
No, not us.
We're getting poorer as fuck.
Yeah.
And the couple people at the top, the corrupt that run the shit show, they all get rich, and they're laughing at us while we're all down here, like, fighting to pay rent.
Right.
We're going to get into break. We're going to take 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll continue this fest, this shit fest when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Have you ever thought that maybe voting, maybe all this politics constantly surrounding you is not the way to achieve freedom in your life? Hi, I'm Remso W. Martinez, and I ask myself the same question. That's why I'm on a journey to find true freedom in my lifetime. From learning about financial independence, to new ways to develop rugged individualism, to amazing guests living strange, crazy, amazing lifestyles that you've only thought might be real, but actually are. Go ahead and check out my new show, On the Run with Remso W. Martinez at the We Are Libertarians Network. You can find On the Run with Remso W. Martinez on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play. You know how the internet works. Come on down and let's discover how to achieve real freedom in your life together.
Hey everybody, I just want to take this time to give a big shout out to the very first sponsor of the Break the Bell podcast. That is Goulash Media. They can be found at goulashmedia.net. Goulash Media specializes in graphic design, web design, audio recordings, video work, wedding videos, music videos, even political campaign videos. Goulash Media caters to the little guy with the big vision. You can check them out at goulashmedia.net. That's GOULASH media.net.
We're here. Couldn't say we're back because that made you think we're black. Nobody. We don't want anybody to think that. Your microphone's nowhere near your face.
Hi there.
Hey, we're back, Bill.
We're back.
Nice of you to join us.
Yes. Sorry, I was researching this Mila Antonova.
Find anything of interest besides the fact that she's a bridge-playing
Actually, the most
entrepreneur?
well, she's a software designer now.
Well, yeah, because she got put through software school.
The most interesting thing about her, though, is that her LinkedIn page has been closed. You know how hard it is to close down a LinkedIn page?
She probably got a lot of hits off of this article.
Oh, I'm sure that's exactly what happened. So, yeah.
Mr. Swags Highlights is here, and I don't know who that is, but he said
C. That's very deep.
S-E-E. What are we seeing, Mr. Swags? I love your name, though. So we're just jumping around all over the place. We talked a little bit about the Russia collusion, the Hunter Biden laptop, the updates about them.
Yes.
The FBI involvement and or intelligence community's involvement in election meddling.
Yes.
We talked about this billionaire elitist kind of getting his I don't know, tarnished name whitewashed.
Yeah. He made to look like a victim, a martyr.
A victim. He's one of the latest Epstein victims.
Yes.
And now I want to get into. I just want to jump ship again. I want to get into the war machine because nothing screams corruption like the U.S. war machine. So might as well get right into it.
Yeah.
Let me kill the music. So this article here. Hang on. This next article, if I can find it, it's from Zero Hedge. Apparently, there was an accounting error at the Pentagon when it comes to delivering weapons to Zelensky to the tune of $3 billion, an accounting error.
Oh.
And it worked out well in Zelensky's, or it's going to work out well in Zelensky's favor.
That sounds like a Monopoly card. Accounting error in your favor. Collect $3 billion in extra weapons.
That's exactly what is going on here. Now, it also sounds similar to the some billions of dollars accounting error that was discovered right before 9/11 on 9/10 2001.
Yes.
The Pentagon seems to have a lot of accounting errors.
They do.
So let's read this one and just see how much of a monopoly card it is. Just 3 days after Politico reported the latest authorization of military aid to Ukraine was on pace to run out in midsummer. So Politico comes out and says, you know what, this military aid for Ukraine, it's going to run out here in a couple months.
Yeah.
Guys should be alarmed by this because we're going to run out of money. Immediately after, the Pentagon realizes, oh, we made an accounting error. Says the Pentagon on Thursday disclosed it had made an accounting error with previous weapons shipments, overvaluing them by about $3 billion.
Wait, they overvalued them?
They overvalued them. So this is what happened. The Pentagon sends out billions of dollars of aid.
As they do.
Or of weapons. But what they did was they sent like their stockpile weapons, like their used weaponry.
Sure.
And when they put a price tag on that to the tune of whatever, 85 billion or whatever it is that we're sending them these days, they used when they put it on the books, they used the
new prices.
Yeah, the replacement price versus the used, yeah. What the net value or whatever.
Gotcha.
After they've, what's it called when they like decrease in value?
Oh,
like when an asset
depreciation.
Yeah, so they didn't include the depreciation value to the weapons.
What is the depreciation of a Stinger missile?
I don't fucking know. But the real question is this. Okay, so we send our stockpile of used weapons to Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to replenish that, or we don't have to, but we will replenish that with new weapons.
Of course, because we're cool.
So
like
isn't
that.
the cost that we're like throwing out there, isn't that actually the replacement cost?
Yes, that is correct.
Like if your car blows up, it's not going to cost you the depreciated value of that car. Like you're going to have to pay more than what your shitty car was worth.
Yes.
So let's say, hey, we're going to send $5 billion in guns, and we send like a bunch of used guns to them. Well, we still got to pay new price to replace those guns. So the cost to send them guns was still the cost of new guns.
Yes, you're correct in that. Yes.
I think I'm correct. I mean, I'm not an accountant because I feel like that is the most suicidal job you could ever have. It says, we've discovered consistencies in how we value the equipment inconsistencies in how we value equipment that we've given, an unknown senior defense official told Reuters, adding that it's possible that $3 billion discrepancy could grow even larger as the Department of Defense continues scrutinizing the accounting error.
Now, we just talked about right? About how if in our job we were to make a mistake that would cost our companies millions of dollars, there would be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they made a mistake that are costing $3 billion or maybe more.
No, it saved us $3 billion, but so we actually can give them more money
Well,
now, or
gotcha.
more weapons now.
Well, that's even better.
So it's not like they lost money. It's like we sent them this and we valued it at $3 billion more than it was. So we actually have $3 billion more.
But it's not like they're paying for this shit. We're just giving it to them. It's not like it's like, oh, well, we overcharged them.
No, exactly. It's not like you can't just be like, oh, we got a discount on this. We didn't have. No, they're like, oh, we need to send. We have $3 billion more to send them now, and that's how they're playing this off. It's like, oh, this worked out great for you guys because we can send you $3 billion more weapons now.
That's stupid.
It's stupid as shit. Yeah. But that's how they're playing this off. Derek says they didn't account for depreciation, but did they also account for inflation? I mean, that's fair too.
That's
fair.
Yes.
There is no
Doubtful.
there's no inflation
in Ukraine.
Well, there's no inflation in the government.
Oh, that's true. Yes,
they just take our money. Many of weapons transfers to Ukraine have come from Pentagon stockpiles rather than straight from a factory. According to two DoD officials, the Pentagon used replacement cost for these, but should have used the Pentagon's net book value, which is the Pentagon's original purchase cost minus depreciation. Again, accounting 101.
Yeah.
But again, that's not, I don't know, unless they're not replenishing it, but they're fucking turning around to the military contractors and being like, hey, stock is back up.
Right. Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Whether sincerely as part of a rigged game, Capitol Hill warmongers scolded the Pentagon.
Oh, bullshit.
The revelation of a $3 billion accounting error discovered 2 months ago and only today shared with Congress is extremely problematic.
That's
say
the problem.
least.
They wanted to know sooner.
Said House Foreign Affairs Chair Michael McCall and House Armed Service Chair Mike Rogers in a joint statement. These funds could have been used for extra supplies and weapons for the upcoming counter-offensive instead of rationing funds to last for the remainder of the fiscal year. So they're saying we should have had this to send more sooner, not waiting till now to send more later. We should have had this already. So it's a joke. It's a fucking joke.
It is.
The two opportunistically reiterated previous calls for Biden to make up for the precious lost time by starting to provide Ukraine with dual-purpose improved conventional munitions, or DPICM, and MGM-140 Army Tactical Missile Systems. The DPICM is a special 155 millimeter artillery round. Controversially, it's a type of cluster munition that's notorious for leaving dangerous unexploded munitions scattered over a wide area. Forbes reported, noting that in 2017, 8 Vietnamese were killed and 6 injured by cluster ammunition used more than 40 years ago. The 2008 Convention on Cluster Munitions outlawed them, but the U.S. government is not among the 100 signatories. So, not sure what that has to do with this, besides the fact they're like, we could have used that $3 billion to send them more shit to kill more civilians.
Yeah. So, but basically, things that the world has asked us to outlaw, and we're like, no, we're not going to outlaw it. Here, Ukraine, use this against Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll probably just end up killing more Ukrainians, to be honest.
Thus far, the U.S. government has given Ukraine almost $37 billion in military aid over the course of the 15-month war. However, Dave DeCamp at antiwar.com notes that when tallying military aid, direct budgetary aid, training, the cost of U.S. troop deployment to Eastern Europe, and other aid, the real tally of the war state's latest proxy war against Russia exceeds $113 billion. So that's another $3 billion.
Yeah, right.
Pentagon error adds a new stateside layer of doubt about the aid scheme's integrity. Questions already abound about what happens to weapons once they're in the hands of the notoriously corrupt Ukrainian government. Yeah, we've had these conversations, let's give them more. The Pentagon has a small team of inspectors in Ukraine who can only provide limited accountability without venturing towards the battlefront, to say nothing of having to rely on the honest participation of their Ukrainian partners. With American support for U.S. involvement softening, congressional hawks will welcome the opportunity to give Ukraine another $3 billion without taking a vote. Yeah, now they don't have to approve it because it's already been approved.
Right.
So they just like shifted the books around and they're like, oh, we found $3 billion here because we were valuing this and not valuing it that. And then somebody's like, well, wouldn't it technically be that cost because we got to replace those anyway? And he gets thrown out the fucking window. Exactly.
You know what I can see happening is Ukraine is going to take all this weaponry and stuff that we've given them
and sell it in the black market. We already talked about this. Like
and then they're just going to join Russia.
There's people out there saying that this is already happening. That they are turning around, selling these weapons on the black market, or I don't know, laundering our money.
Because they've been talking about this super special counteroffensive for the last 3 months.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, when are they going to actually do the offensive?
I think it's happening in real time, maybe. I don't know. So what is this? I mean, all this like accounting errors and reporting incorrectly of cost. What does that sound like to you?
Well, it sounds like Gavin Newsom saying you guys wouldn't understand.
It sounds like blatant money laundering.
Well, it is.
It's like a second
They're
set
cooking
of
the
books,
books.
cooking the books.
Yes.
A second, like you see on like shows like this is my knowledge of money laundering. Shows like Ozark, where he's like, well, we're gonna say that we're gonna have this carpeting company, and they're gonna write us a bill for $20 per square foot, and then they're going to write us another bill for $12 per square foot, and we're going to pay them a little bit extra to write these two receipts, and in reality we're only paying this, but we're saying we're paying this so we can launder the money through. Is that not exactly what this fucking sound like?
That is exactly what's happening, yes.
It's like Ukraine's writing 2 receipts for their Stinger missiles, or the Pentagon writes their own receipts. That's Ukraine's not giving any sort of receipt. It's like, just write this in the book. It's like, well, we're going to run out of aid. Congress said they're not going to approve more money. It's like, well, what if this? What if we said that these were actually worth less than what we said originally that they were worth?
Because
so technically we still have, we forgot depreciation value.
Right.
So technically we, by that note, would have more money. Like
that we can give them.
We can send them more.
Yeah, it's bullshit, man.
And then they can route it back to DNC or whoever,
whatever
thing was that they said. I don't know.
It's bullshit.
I mean, is it surprising to you?
No, it's not. But
Where's
it's getting very tiring.
It's exhausting.
Yes, because
it's so freaking exhausting.
When you look at the economy and everything, and yes, it's nice that the price of eggs has gone down some. That doesn't account for the fact that the rest of the economy is shit. And people like us are the ones feeling the burn.
The problem is you're valuing your eggs at the wrong value.
Am I?
You're not valuing them at their depreciation level. Yes.
Shit. I always forget that part.
So, again, war's a racket. Go back to the episode titled "War's a Racket." You'll find out more. But I mean, it's no surprise.
But it's not just war. It's
the government's a racket.
The government, the social programs, the Social Security, the healthcare, the food stamps. The Medicare,
the Green New Deal,
all of it's a fucking racket, and everybody else up there is living the life, and we're like, is anybody else seeing this?
Now I want to look at this graphic here. This is actually from the Afghanistan war, because we don't have like the final tallies and stuff of the Ukraine war to really measure up how much of a racket that it is. So I got this graphic of the Afghanistan war because we have like the after reports and stuff like that now.
Since it's over now.
Yeah, since it's over, we can really measure this out. This is from globaltimes.com or .cn. Is that Canada? It's titled, "The Biggest War Profiteer is the U.S." So this, again, is about the Afghanistan war. It says 61% of global arms sales in 2019 come from the U.S. 5 of the 10 world's largest defense contractor are from the U.S. 57% of total arms sales by the world's 100 largest defense contractors are from the U.S. $6.4 trillion was spent post 9/11 wars and conflicts in more than 80 countries. 80 countries? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
$6.4 trillion in 80 countries.
That's crazy.
In Afghanistan alone, we spent $2.31 trillion on that whole war.
Okay.
The top 5 defense contractors made $2.02 trillion. 87% of the money we spent on that war went back to our own military contractors. You remember when some president talked about the military-industrial complex, Dwight Eisenhower?
Yeah.
This is what he was talking about. I just spilled my coffee. Got excited.
It was like a dramatic spill, though. Yeah, right. Absolutely.
87% of $2.3 trillion spent on the 20-year Afghanistan war went to corporations like Halliburton, which Dick Cheney, the Carlyle Group, the Bush family, still making freaking bank off of the Afghanistan war. I mean, I want to look at the exact numbers of like how much stock increase went up between like Halliburton, Carlyle, Raytheon, all these companies that these politicians that made this happen, like brought to you by George W. Bush and Dick Cheney.
Yeah. But how many politicians have stock in these companies?
Well, then,
right? So they pass
that's
these
what
bills.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, all of them are making bank.
Like George H.W. was on the board of not Halliburton, of Carlyle Group, which has like a lot of stock in military contracting. When we went to war, and then like halfway through the war, he's like, "Oh, this looks problematic. I'm going to step down as like chairman of the board, but I'm still going to own like 500 shares or whatever in Carlyle Group." So he's still profiting from the war.
Yeah.
Not to mention any stock they have in the oil.
Right.
Like the Bush family and the oil stock, which is why we're in most of those wars in the first place. Then again, Dick Cheney with Halliburton, the Penguin who pushed us into the war, making bank off of it. What about did you know Jeb and Marvin Bush were in these corporations and companies?
Is his name really Marvin?
Marvin Bush and Jeb Bush.
Wow.
They secured their companies collectively secured over $50 billion in government contracts in 2001 alone. The Bush family made fucking bank off of that, of Afghanistan and Iraq wars, or the 80 other countries that we went to war in. War is money laundering. War is a racket. War, I mean, the corrupt drag us into the war. They make bank off of the war. So it's no surprise, like going into Ukraine, like looking back at Afghanistan and then looking forward at Ukraine and being like, oh, it's a big old money laundering scheme. It's just like, and they're all a fucking money laundering scheme.
Well, and I just had looked this up. So, and of course, BlackRock owns at least 7% in each of those companies.
Obviously, BlackRock owns a vast
7%
majority
in
of
every,
everything. Yes.
yeah, right.
Every industry and every business in the world. So, a part of me wants to believe that we pulled out of Afghanistan because Ukraine is Joe Biden's Afghanistan.
Yes.
The Biden family Afghanistan.
Absolutely.
Like the Bidens didn't have any stock in Afghanistan or in oil or in whatever the Bushes and the freaking Cheneys and all those people had stock in. He has stock in what, China and Afghanistan, so, or not Afghanistan, Ukraine.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, let's just dramatically pull out of Afghanistan in the worst fashion period because we need to shift focus to Ukraine because I can make money in Ukraine.
I mean, is that the way now? Like every president is going to have their own special war that they can get rich off of? Right? I mean, that's what we're doing. I mean, of course, Hillary had Haiti, but
she never became president,
she couldn't get it done.
Otherwise, we would be at war with Haiti right now, which would have been the shortest war in the history of war.
They would find a way to prolong it.
They would have stretched it out somehow.
Yeah.
You just don't know the landscape of Haiti. It's really difficult. It's like
rough.
a hurricane took out Haiti in one day, and then an earthquake in another day. I think we can do it. No, you just don't understand the terrain.
Yeah, and those people are relentless.
Yes. You don't know the spirit of the Haitians.
But I mean, that's a very scary thought, though, right? I mean, so Biden's making bank off Ukraine. Okay, say Biden goes away.
So who's Trump making bank off of?
I don't think Trump really knows the game yet with politics. He's still playing the old game of like business.
Yeah.
Right. So, but say DeSantis, okay, say he makes it. All right. So then he gets his own personal war going on.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's just that's the way politics are done today. Like everybody starts their own personal war so they can make money and get power.
Mm-hmm. I've got this article here. It says war is the biggest money laundering scheme the U.S. ever invented. This is from Medium. It's just an op-ed from a European, so not much credibility, but still, it's true.
Interesting article.
It is. If I can find the actual article and not just this picture. Read the rest of the story with... Okay, I'm not going to read that article, I guess. We'll move on, I guess. Basically, it's saying everything we're saying. It just kind of backed it up. And talking about where is this $57 billion or whatever going in Ukraine? It's like, well, you got to look at where previous wars and realize it's a money laundering scheme. It's pretty much been going on since the U.S. military complex became established in the world wars. It's just like, yay.
Because Eisenhower said that right after the Korean War, right? Mm-hmm. He was like, okay, well, we've crossed that bridge and now it's all going to be war.
There's no going back, guys. Yeah. It's all war now. Where was I going? Oh, in that article, it basically said that the entire U.S. economy is based on war.
Yeah.
And I believe it. Like, if you look at any mega corporation, like, mega corporations don't base their success, and we've talked about this before, they don't base their success on the profit. Because, like, say I get, like, a $50 billion profit this year, and I get a $47 billion profit next year. That's still really good, right? But our profits decrease. Right. Theirs is like profit of profit is their success. It's like making more profit is successful. Like we want that upward trajectory. Like we don't want to be at the same profit this year as we were last year. We want to make more profit, and that's how they measure success. Well, it's the same with the military complex. It's like, well, in this war, we made this much $1 trillion. And then war dies down. What happens is our economy kind of goes to shit. We get like the Great Depression, and then how do we get out of the Great Depression? We went into another war.
But that's the lie that they like to teach, though. It wasn't war that got us out of the Depression. It was the stabilizing of the market. Right?
What stabilized the market, though?
But it wasn't war. It was capitalism. Right? It was the government took their hands out of things because they were focused on the war. People went to work, and you know they had to. It was not just like the weapons and stuff. It was having the economy get stabilized by cars and other groceries, right? So the government stopped subsidizing things because they didn't need to. But it wasn't because of the war, though.
I don't know. I do think today that I think if we stop...
Today it is. I agree.
If we stop fighting wars today, our economy would take a dive.
But only because we don't have the intelligence to actually let the markets work the way they're supposed to.
There is no markets working the way they're supposed to
there isn't
anymore.
Because the corporations are so in bed with the politicians that they're artificially inflating everything.
Yeah, and the last article I've got here, Joseph Rath says Google says it was the war. So you're wrong, Bill.
Okay.
You're wrong.
All right, Google.
No, I believe to an extent, yeah, you're probably right. But I think we're so far past that now that wouldn't ever happen.
Once, and Eisenhower's right. Yeah, once we went into that industrial complex, yes, it is war. I mean, look at 9/11, right? I mean, that was Bush's way to get the economy going.
Back on track, yeah. And then, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes up and down. We have our, but
we don't have the balls to let the economy do what it needs to do. So we just keep printing money and getting into wars. And
really interesting you bring that up, because this next one kind of ties everything together about the corruption stuff. This article is titled "How Corruption Makes You Poor," and it talks all about that natural capitalism that should balance itself out,
right?
And how the government puts their grubby little mitts in it and fucks it all up through like artificial inflation, artificial interest rates, or artificially regulating markets, or like throws like an unnatural cog into the machine that's not supposed to be there. And the rich make bank and we just suffer from it. So this is called How Corruption Makes You Poor. And it's very interesting you brought that up. We didn't even plan for this.
No,
So,
not at all.
like you should be shocked that we didn't plan because we plan so well normally.
Yeah, right.
It says okay, where's the first sentence? It says, are you the type of person who works hard, saves money, and invests with the intent of accumulating lasting wealth? It sounds like an infomercial.
Yeah, right.
If so, you've likely noticed that things don't quite add up between what you're regularly told about the economy and how financial markets work and what you actually experience. We think there's more to this than just dollars and cents. The central feature of economics is prices, how they are determined and how people respond to them. This process establishes how prices adapt to meet the supply and demand pressures of the market, or capitalism. Through experience, buyers can determine what's a good deal or not, and they adjust their behavior accordingly. Similarly, through testing, sellers determine the optimal price of products, a price where profit margin is best supported by sales. For example, when airfares are cheap, a father may spring for long-distance plane tickets so his family can vacation somewhere exotic. When plane tickets are expensive, he may opt for a road trip and tent camping at a national park. Both experiences will create lasting family memories. Prices, nonetheless, are a critical determinant in the decision. In fact, prices and how people respond to them are factored into nearly all free exchange for fulfilling wants and needs. You may already have an ample supply of socks, but a buy one get one free sale may incentivize you to buy more. Your old beater car may work just fine. Still, you may want a new car that has all the latest digital integrations. But how badly do you want it? Bad enough to sign up for a $1,000 a month car payment. At that price, you'll miss out on a lot of steak dinners. The point is, prices and incentives matter. Moreover, changes in conditions raise and lower prices. This is an important insight and is one not lost on government policymakers. By influencing prices, they can influence behavior. Corrupting prices. So this gets into the meat of the story. To be perfectly frank, prices are corrupted by governments for the purpose of extracting capital from the economy and rearranging society in strange and unnatural ways. Sound at all familiar?
Yeah.
In California, for instance, Assembly Bill number 205, which was approved by Governor Newsom in 2022, requires power companies to charge customers a base fee that escalates by income bracket. A recent proposal would forcibly compel high-income earners to pay a base fee that's over 400% more than low-income earners. This is in addition to the actual use rate. Is it fair and just to penalize people with high incomes? Does the government know how to spend money better than people who earned it? Absolutely. Sacramento thinks so, as does Washington through its execution of federal income tax policy. The process of corrupting prices also accrues power to central planners and decision makers. No. The power and wealth it affords them has proven to be quite intoxicating. Too much is never enough. What's more, bankrupt, failing governments can only hold on to power by tightening their grip on those they dominate, including you. Compulsory diktats over how your time is directed and how your money is spent are acts of desperation, yet they must go on. Massive taxes, endless fees, tax incentive credits, and outright currency debasement and money supply inflation all work to extract capital from private individuals and direct it back to Washington. And right now, the later stage of decadence, this appropriative coercion must increase. You see, at this point, there's no way to reverse the gross corruption that has already occurred. Any potential means to do so are soon coopted by the central authority and turned against the population. Tools of control. Consider digital technology advancements. These should be liberating, and in many ways they are, but what the last 20 years of the digital age has shown is something that's profoundly sinister. Digital advancement and practice have given governments, including U.S. government, powerful tools of control. It gets into Snowden, it gets into the CIA, the IRS, and all this stuff. We don't have to.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, we don't have to beat that dead horse because it's dead.
Yeah.
How corruption makes you poor. The findings of the Durham report, so this ties back to what we were talking about, for any honest observer really aren't all that shocking. political corruption in America has been normalized. That's what we've been saying this whole entire 2 hours.
Yes.
Like opaque medical bill charges, it's merely a facet of everyday life. You can get worked up over it, you can complain, but it won't do any good. The IRS, for example, has long proven itself to be an agent of dubious actors. If you recall, the IRS singled out conservative groups in 2013, including the Tea Party, and subjected them to expensive and needless audits. Lois Lerner, who was then director of the IRS division, ultimately apologized for making mistakes and exercising poor judgment. Obama also demanded the resignation of the acting IRS commissioner, Stephen Miller, who called the agency's actions intolerable and inexcusable. Yet, if there was really justice to be had, the IRS would be scrapped and the agency's workers would be sent home without pay. Kind of like what we were saying about the FBI. It's like, oh, bad FBI, bad FBI. It's like, but you didn't do anything.
There's no consequences.
Nothing's going to change because you just said a bad to them, like Obama said bad to them and made the person at the top resign. Still, the IRS still operates exactly how it operates. Didn't get scrapped, similar to the FBI.
Yeah.
Says the impenetrable tax code would be replaced with a simple across-the-board flat tax, which eliminates all deductions, loopholes, and chicanery. But that would remove the politics, lobbying, and swindling opportunities behind it, which is the tax code's very point. Given these abuses by the IRS for partisan purposes, it shouldn't be a surprise that other government agencies are abusing their powers for political objectives. What to make of it? Banana republics of all stripes have several common denominators. They have a corrupt political class, including both elected officials and unelected agency bureaucrats who lie, cheat, and steal to consolidate power and concentrate wealth.
Sounds right.
They have a corrupt debt-based currency, run massive deficits, and resort to the printing press to scam the populace. All public restrooms are corrupted with carved graffiti and missing toilet seats. In good time, as the nation's corruption spreads and becomes more pervasive, it bleeds all private wealth from its citizens. Lastly, a utopia has been reached when the powerless majority are all equally poor.
True that.
True that. I mean, it's kind of what we say about the whole WEF's, like,
you'll own
equity.
And,
the whole equity thing. Like, have us all on the same. We said for years now, it's not the same playing field, equitable up here. It's all of us are on the same playing field, all down here, equally poor, while they sit at the top with consolidated wealth, with consolidated power,
and steak,
and all the steak, while we eat our bugs,
Yes.
and we have nothing, and we are happy.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's it.
That's this here.
Yeah,
in a nutshell.
Absolutely.
It's like they want the power. They will do whatever it is to take the power. They'll make these stupid laws that seem like it's like for our best interest. Oh yeah, we're just gonna make it. We're gonna tax the rich and the wealthy and give back to the poor. The poor are still fucking poor.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like if this worked, why is there still poor?
Right.
Like how many social programs have we had since the 30s? Since what's his
social programs? I mean, and we this. They're not designed to help anybody get out of poverty.
No, they're designed to keep you in poverty,
right,
like
on the government teat.
Milk at the teat of the government. Derek Ambrose says, government forces the increase of wages and collects more taxes on those wages. And why the hell should my electric company know what my household income is? That's exactly it. It's like, why are we you're charging for the amount of electricity you spend. Now, I would assume that somebody with a $5 million mansion is probably spending more electricity than somebody with a little hut.
Right.
I would assume.
I would think so. Yeah.
So they're going to be paying more anyway.
Yeah.
On the base amount. Why charge them 400% more?
Right.
Just because they're rich.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's no reason they should even have your financial information.
Right.
It should be like, he spent a bunch of electricity.
Yeah.
Pay the bill.
Yeah. Right. Not be like, oh well, this guy makes about $200,000 a year, so we're gonna increase his base.
Yeah, because obviously you can afford it.
Yeah.
It's like you shouldn't know that they can afford that. There's no reason for
but
them to
it's
know
just
that.
like this plan with Biden with if you have good credit, you're gonna get charged
You're
higher
gonna
rates.
Get a penalty pretty much for
To
having good credit to
people.
subsidize people with shitty credit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's the unnatural stuff.
Yes.
It gets thrown in there, and I don't know. It's all a scheme. It's all
It is.
corrupt.
Yeah.
It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
It's to consolidation of power.
Yeah.
It's to make us all not even want. Like, why would you want to be rich if you're just gonna have all these penalties smacked on you for being rich? It's like, well, you're gonna be taxed at like 49%. It's like, why the hell would I want that?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to pay 4 times more on your electric bill just because you're rich.
But why?
It's like, but I live in a tiny little house so I can save electricity.
Yeah, right.
And save money, and you're charging me more just because I make more.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
What do you think of this last line that says, the powerless majority are all equally poor? Let's get back to that.
Well, yeah. I mean, that goes back to what we've been saying with the WEF, like you said. That's the goal, is that we're all going to be equal, but we're all going to be on the same fucking, we're all going to be wanting to eat the mealworms and suck off the tea.
We'll love it. We'll love every second of it, obviously.
Yeah, because, but it's like you look at Europe, and everybody has the small houses, and the small cars, and everybody's fine with it, America.
But are they truly happy?
Well, no.
Do you see any European that looks happy though?
No, I truly don't. but we're criminalized in America for having the bigger houses, the bigger cars.
Well, yeah, because we're sucking up the world's resources.
Right, and so that's
why should we get to suck up the world's resources when truly the elitists are the ones that need those resources to be elite and save the world from us.
And that's why, we need to be put, in our smart cities.
Yes. The corrupt run the elections. They don't rig the elections. They literally run the elections.
Yes.
The corrupt finance the politicians. The corrupt drag us into these fucking endless wars. What do we get out of it? We get fucking poor. We get poor.
But you get the knowledge of knowing that you're helping to save democracy, right?
Sure.
That's the illusion, right?
Yeah,
it's
kind of like the illusion of capitalism that we don't live like.
Yeah,
we're not really capitalist when the government is
market.
Regulating everything from like energy consumption to the price of fuel to the price of goddamn cigarettes because we want to curb cancer by putting extra taxes on the cigarettes.
Right.
Like none of that is capitalism.
No,
none of it's real capitalism.
No, they're for Americans, there is no American dream anymore, right?
No.
They peddle the American dream to all the migrants that they're putting up in nice hotels
it's like,
and school gyms.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like regulating the housing market, like with these freaking increases on interest rates.
Yeah.
Regulating, like, the backbone of the freaking of the economy, like the farms, like the food production. How much of that is artificially like subsidized and artificially like they just stock up on crops just to throw them away to keep prices regulated. Like it's all just artificial bullshit.
It is. Yeah.
And because they want to save us from what real capitalism would do, which is like self-regulate.
Right. Yeah.
But through self-regulation, you wouldn't have these like uber billionaires up at the top that are. I mean, you would probably get some high cost millionaires, but I don't think with true capitalism, I don't find that you'd probably have billionaires.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Because I mean, the people do say, "Well, without government regulation, who would like control people from like monopolies and shit like?" Well, the people would. They'd like shoot them in the fucking face or something.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they did it before.
Right. Exactly. They tar and feather them or some stupid shit. But the government had to get involved in that too and say you can't do that anymore.
Right.
That's unnatural. The natural solution is tar and feather.
Yes. Yeah. Let the people hang who they want to hang.
Yes, exactly. Drag them behind a horse, whatever.
Yes.
Maybe not by race.
No,
that was wrong.
But maybe by corruption.
Classist, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think of all this?
I think we're at a point where we need to just start over. We need to fire our government, and we just need to start over.
Does that happen though?
It's got to. I mean, look how bad things have gotten in the last 20 years.
Like, I'm to the point where I'm like, please start a civil war because please crash the economy.
Yes.
It's just going to be hard for all of us. People will die, but it's the only way to save ourselves from ourselves.
Because, like I said, things have gotten so much worse in the last 20 years, and I don't see it ending unless something drastic happens.
It's just got so much worse just since 2020.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yes.
We've talked about how much the wealth has consolidated just in the last 3 freaking years. How much the companies have consolidated. It's gone from like hundreds to like 3, like when it comes to like certain industries and stuff like that. And like we talked about remember the media, how it's consolidated to like 5. Like every industry has consolidated, and everything falls under the BlackRock group and Vanguard, and I mean.
Yeah,
it's a freaking
and they
nightmare.
and then you got politicians that are investing in these companies, so they're making money, so they decide the winners and losers, and that's what it's all become,
Joseph says absolute power breeds corruption, which we which we said at the beginning.
Yep.
He said he recently learned that the reverse is true. Corruption breeds absolute power. Like the corrupt become the powerful.
Power. Yeah.
I mean, it's true.
It is.
I mean, throughout this whole excursion of this podcast, I've gone from kind of libertarian mindset to like absolute anarchist mindset. Like it's
absolutely.
all fucked. Like you're not gonna fix it by voting because the votes
they
are
control
rigged.
The votes now.
The freaking ballots are rigged. Like it's all freaking the government's rigged that makes the voting laws. It's rigged.
Yeah.
The people that pay the government to make the laws, they're corrupt.
Yeah.
Like it's just a freaking corrupt cycle. So you're never gonna get through. I mean, this is black-pilled personality, like mentality thinking. I get it, but I don't feel like voting is ever going to be a solution at this point because they've done away with.
Yeah.
Like it's racist to even consider voting laws.
Right. Absolutely.
Like any sort of voter ID or anything. Like I don't know. It's to the point, like you said, it's just like scrap it.
Yeah,
we got to start over.
I mean, I seriously think it's gotten to that point now. At this, it's
like, is the Constitution really anything anymore? Like, because we rave about like freedom of speech, for the Second Amendment. Like, does any of that even freaking matter anymore?
I think that they've so twisted things around that. No, I don't think that the Constitution really has anything.
Oh, Derek Ambrose has a fantastic solution. We should get people to short sell U.S. Treasury bonds like we did AMC and GameStop.
Nice.
Remember the GameStop episode we did with
that was brilliant.
What's his name? Gavin something.
Yeah, he was out of
the Young Republicans Club.
Yeah.
New York Young Republicans Club. Yeah, that was an interesting time watching GameStop just go through the roof and people lost their mind. Imagine that with U.S. Treasury bonds. Like everybody's like, let's short sell the U.S. Treasury. Let's just watch the U.S. Treasury just burn.
Yeah.
Let's just. The thing is, like we talked about how the U.S. is too big to fail. It's like maybe we need to push it to the point of failure instead of trying to push it back from failure. Maybe we should just accelerate the failure, shove it over the edge. So let's just get it done and over with, and then people can really see what's going on.
Yeah,
but then you'll get the government be like, well, we need to do this. You need to pay us more. And it's just like, no, push them over the edge and push the government over the politicians.
Yeah,
with it.
I think that's where we've gotten.
That's where we are.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when we started, we were all about like, well, I'm not going to wear a mask, and now we're like, let's burn it down.
Yes, exactly.
That's what podcasting has gotten us.
But what I was saying about the Constitution, though, like, I believe for everything it says in it, but it's soap and watered down, like freedom of speech, but except for freedom, the Second Amendment, like, shall not be infringed upon, except for if it's looks scary and it shoots extra bullets and and people could defend themselves with it.
Right.
Freedom of assembly. If you got a permission slip from the government to assemble peacefully and protest, you have to get a city permit to protest. Otherwise, you get fined or kicked out. So, yeah, you do have freedom to protest, but you have to get government permission. I thought the Constitution was my permission slip to do this.
Oh, and we have to agree with what you're trying to say.
It's like
because it can't be.
You
hateful.
hear all the time of protests that are like, well, they got broken up because they didn't. They were protesting without a permit on city property. It's like I thought the permit was the fucking Constitution. I thought that's what that said.
Yeah. I mean, freedom of religion. Well, no, because that offends people.
Freedom from unlawful search and unreasonable search and seizure, unless you in the early 2000s were a brown person, or in the latter 2000s,
or there's cause,
had a big beard and wore camo pants.
Right. Or freedom of press, except for when the press is all in the bag for the ruling party.
Right. Exactly. Which they all are now anyway. Right. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you keep the Constitution when we scrap the government, or do we write a new one, or do we just say?
I'd say the Constitution, stays as the basis. The problem is you gotta.
But we gotta word it more solidly.
Yes.
We can't be, because the founding fathers were like, they're not gonna misunderstand this.
Yeah, this is as clear as you can put it. They can't.
We're gonna
keep
it short and sweet, because it's straight to the point, and people are like, well, it's really short, so
and you guys, you didn't have machine guns back then.
Right.
So you didn't know what it was like.
Right.
You didn't have social media. It's like,
I don't know.
It says what it says.
Right.
Get rid of the ruling political class. You cut the ties between the corporations.
Yes.
And you make it so that real people are in the office, and after 10 years they're out and someone else comes in, right? They don't get to stick around.
Or don't have any of them.
Right.
Just let's have our little tribalism, our little clans.
There you go.
Our communities. You can have your socialist commune over there. We'll have our capitalist commune. Do small government, the way people were designed to operate. We weren't designed to be this big, massive, centralized, one culture. We are meant tribalism for a reason.
People that live in Iowa are nothing like people that live in California.
Thank God.
And they shouldn't have to be.
They shouldn't.
You want to do California your way, you do
That's
California
fine.
your way.
Yes,
You
exactly.
charge the fuck out of yourself.
Yeah, I am fine if you want to have people are like, well, why don't you like communism? It's people helping people. It's like, that's fine if you want to do that. Go do
for
that,
it, man.
And I'll do this thing over here.
Yeah.
And maybe I would even subscribe to some form of communist commune if it was true communism in a commune, where it's like everybody's growing their own fruit, and we throw we come together and have a dinner. I'll throw in the carrots, you throw in the steak.
Instead of having a government saying you better give in those carrots and you better give in that steak,
and you're not going to get any of them, but we're gonna eat them, and you're gonna get mealworms.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. Do we have a happy ending for this besides burn it to the ground?
I think burning it to the ground is a happy
thought.
That
is the happiest thought.
That is the happiest thought.
It's like start a civil war, like the meme with the stick. It's like, come on, guys, start as I am now. Let's start a something
something needs to be done. Something drastic, because it's just going to keep going that way.
I mean, the corrupt make the rules.
Yeah,
they're there.
They do.
And I mean, unfortunately, at some point we put them there.
Yeah.
But you can't get them out now.
Well, yeah, exactly. They're like Bob. They don't go away.
Exactly like Bob. What about Bob? That's all I got for this.
Yeah.
My brain hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, just reading these stories, I'm just like,
yeah. It's like how can we allow this to happen?
How have we let this get to this point?
Yeah.
Our founding fathers are rolling in their graves.
Fuck yeah, they are.
Or maybe they're not. Maybe, I don't know, they're probably corrupt too.
Yeah, right.
They're all Freemasons, so they're probably corrupt too. So, no offense to you Freemasons out there. Wow, this is a really important comment from Derek that I've left it up for the last 15 minutes. That's all I got for this.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got any better solutions, then burn it to the ground. Or short selling the U.S. Treasury, which would be burning it to the ground.
Yeah.
Let me know what's going to work. short of kicking the government out and just fending
Starting
for
over.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, the lady from Oregon, Chad, right? That's what she was saying.
Oh, yeah, that's what that was?
Well, yeah, but they had a whole different spin on it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm fine with that. You can have Chad. I'll have whatever this community is here, and we'll all be fine.
Yeah.
Derek says, I just want to have my shit. The government to mind their own business.
Yeah,
well,
that's
Derek,
all any
the
of us want.
sad fact is, oh, he also said big government isn't rural government either.
Big city government.
Or big city government isn't rural government either. People per square mile versus square miles per person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree
You
with
want to
that.
have your shit and the government to mind their own business. The problem is if the government is here,
They want your shit.
they're not going to mind their own business. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
It's how it always has been. It's a power grab always because people just freaking suck. So if we put somebody in charge, it's like, okay, you're in charge now. It's going to ultimately get back to this point where it's just like, well, I'm in charge. You put me in charge, so give me your shit.
Yeah. And, they can't see past the whole equity thing. They can't imagine bringing people up.
No.
Right? They just got to tear everybody else down.
Yeah, so to put themselves up at the top. Yeah. It's like, I want that, and I want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Solutions. I'm open-minded at this point because,
Right.
I mean, it's bad.
Yeah. Something's got to change.
It's terrible. Like, we've got a president that is like pretty much pay-for-play bribery to other countries. Like, oh, yeah, we'll let you in with us if you make my family well. And it's not Biden.
No.
It's not just Biden.
It's the whole class, political class.
Yeah. I mean, look at all of them.
Yeah.
Did you see, like, this has nothing to do with it, or maybe it does. Did you see the images of Dianne Feinstein being, like, wheeled around?
No.
To hold her spot in Congress
really?
because I think they're trying to get somebody else in that is on their side. They don't want to just, like, if she steps down, they could vote for somebody
right, yeah.
else. So they're just, like, literally wheeling her corpse through Congress.
So it's like Weekend at Bernie's now.
Basically, yes. I mean, it's sad. But our whole government is Dianne Feinstein being, like, her corpse being wheeled around in Congress.
That's
sad.
pathetic.
That's all I got. I said that 3 times. That's all I
Yes.
got. Make sure you check us out all over the social medias. You can find us on our handle at Break the Bell Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, check out our website, www.breakthebellpod.com. Check out all the stuff that we do and all the previous episodes and future episodes. If you're listening to this in the future, we want you to join us live because we like the interaction.
Yes.
Like Derek and Joseph and Shannon. Thanks for
And
chiming
Swag.
in. And Swag, whatever his name was.
Yes.
That didn't
Yeah,
really
see.
Yeah, Mr. Swag's highlights didn't actually elaborate on what he was telling us to see, but thanks for enlightening us with your comments. Like I said, we are live Monday nights, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I think I'm taking next week off because you're not going to be here for
I'll be
Memorial
gone.
Day.
Yeah.
And so I think for Memorial Day, we'll just take the week off. Let you guys have a break from us. And we'll be I don't think you'll be here the following either, but I'll be here, so we'll carry on without you, sadly.
I'll try to communicate.
Okay. That works for me. So next week there will not be a show, but most Monday nights at 7 p.m. we are here, or a few minutes late like tonight. So make sure you join us live for future episodes because we love the interaction and we love getting derailed by your comments.
Absolutely.
Makes the show more fun. And you guys are insightful too. You have some insightful comments sometimes. Have a great rest of your week. It's nice outside. Go touch grass and do that stuff.
Do something with grass.
Yeah, touch the grass. Have a great rest of your week.
Peace.
Goodbye.
The Break the Bell podcast is brought to you by you. So pat yourself on the back because without you, we would be talking to ourselves. A special thanks to our Patreon members, Justin Zielinski, Remzo Martinez, Stephanie Parker, and T.O. Jacobson. A shout out to our sponsors, Run Your Mouth Coffee, the On the Run podcast, and Goulash Media.
If you'd like to help support us, visit patreon.com/breakthebell or buy our garbage at breakthebell.bigcartel.com. Get back here next week and let us continue to invade your ear holes. And as always, never stop talking.